Welcome, fellow Toastmasters. And I don't believe we have any guests. This meeting of online presenters is now begun. So, just for the recording's sake, guests, please note that in order to be a member of this club, you must be a current or former active Toastmaster and have completed 6 official speeches. If you have substantial presentation experience, you may apply for membership after you demonstrate your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during one of our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by the members of our club. If you have not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it shows your name and any role that you're playing this evening or morning or afternoon. Remember, we have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. Thus, as a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word use that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note we are recording the meeting and your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. Also, please mute your microphone when you are not speaking. And at this point, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our club president, DTM Lou Brown.
Thank you, Madam Sergeant at Arms. Welcome, everyone, to another wonderful week of online presenters. We have a packed show for you today, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you may be calling from. Also, a couple of special announcements. Please remember to stay with us all the way to the end. We may, if we do run out of time, we'll squeeze those in right during our post-meeting party. But again, please stick around for those announcements. Before we dive into the main portion of the program, I will ask our Vice President of Education if there are any educational achievement announcements that you would like to make.
Yes, there are. We have a cluster of achievements on, this goes to Angela Heath. She was catching up and we went through her process, and she has a Visionary Communications 2, a Visionary Communications 1, and a Presentation Mastery 1, all achieved and in this cycle. And we also have Donna Knight finishing Effective Coaching 1. So all those things have crossed the line and appeared on the club roster, and congratulations to all of them. We still are at DC goals number 4, which is qualifying for distinguished, but of course we'd like more. We have plenty of empty spots at level 1, 2, and 3. If you're working on new projects, please let us know that we can get that credit, because our goal is to finish off all educational credits that we can qualify for, and just keep calling them in, because we still get credit for all that we do. For those that are officers needing TLI officer training, there are numerable trainings December 11th. For example, in District 47, they're having TLIs, and if you need that, it can be done there. Back to you, Lou.
Thank you very much, Mr. VPE. Appreciate that. And by the way, I see we do have a guest with us this evening. Kimberly, very nice to see you again. I believe this is your second meeting, correct?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Good to see you too.
Wonderful to see you again. I also see we have a couple of members that I haven't seen in a little bit of time. Mary Ruth, very nice to see you. Or hopefully we will see you soon. I think your video's off there. And Jeanette, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while as well. So nice that you are with us this evening. So welcome everyone again. Now we are going to have a very quick VPM moment. I am going to substitute for our Vice President Membership, Marianne Grady, who cannot be with us this evening, but we will have a special new member induction for our newest member, who will also correct me on if I improperly pronounce your name. Imtinan Mohsin.
Yes, correct. Correct.
Awesome. Okay, very good. Bear with me 1 second while I get my screen ready here. Okay, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, on behalf of Online Presenters Toastmasters, it is my duty and privilege to induct Imtinan into our club. This is an important occasion for both for Imtinan and for our club. As experienced speakers and Toastmasters, this individual will enrich us as we strive to enrich him in a spirit of sharing and enjoyment. Together, we expand our effectiveness as dynamic leaders, presenters, and communicators. Now, Imtinan, please wait until I call on you to affirm your commitment to the Toastmaster promise. In the presence of fellow online presenters, do you pledge to attend meetings regularly and prepare for each assignment, to actively participate in club activities, to evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner to build open, friendly relationships with our fellow members, and to bring other new members into online presenters so that they too can gain the benefits of Toastmasters? Imtinan, please unmute and say I do.
I do.
To the current members of Online Presenters, I remind you of your pledge to support Imtinan in his quest for self-development, to provide him with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, and to make his Online Presenters Toastmasters membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience. Congratulations, Imtinan, and welcome to Online Presenters. Everyone, please unmute and give Imtinan a warm round of applause.
Welcome.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your warm welcome. Thank you very much.
That concludes the special VPM moment for today's meeting. I will now pass control to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster David Carr.
Woohoo! Thank you, Lou, and welcome, Imtinan, to our club. It's a great place, and you're making it that much better. As your Toastmaster of the day, I'm spending a little bit of time advertising VTMCon, which is just getting organized for next year. And I've been informed that it's not as organized as I thought it was even, but we're working on it. We're working on it. And we'll be asking for your help along the way. The theme of today's meeting, because of the occasions this week, is giving thanks. And the word of the day is grace, which maybe we'll be hearing a little bit about from Margaret Mary in just a moment. My job as Toastmaster of the day is to keep this meeting organized and on track. And in order to do that, I need other people to keep me on track, which is a big job. Starting with our timer. Lucas, can you tell us what you'll be doing as timer for this evening?
Yes, as the timer, I will be timing our prepared speakers, our table topic speakers, and our evaluators. For this meeting, in regard to our prepared speakers, we have 2 5 to 7 minute speeches. So the timing conventions will be as follows. At 5 minutes, I'll show the green light, 6 the yellow, and 7 for the red. And there's a 30-second grace period before and after.
Okay, we do also have an icebreaker, so
Yes,
that'll
we
be
do.
4 to 6
So,
minutes instead.
Right. And the
Okay.
icebreaker, 4 minutes at green at 4, yellow at 5, red at 6, with the 30-second grace period. Table topics, 1 to 2 minutes, green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5, red at 2, with the
Okay.
30-second grace period. And evaluations will be 2 minutes green, 2.5 yellow, 3 minutes red. Back to you.
All right, speakers, you have been warned. We have an counter, speaking of being warned. And Jeanette, thank you for stepping in as our counter tonight.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Yes, today my role is the out counter, and as the out counter, I'll make sure to listen to the ums, to the ahs, to all the filler words and the crutch words that I'll be listening, and also the repetitive words. So back to you, Mr. Toastmasters of the Day.
Terrific. We have a grammarian for this evening, and that is Mary Ruth Dilling. Mary Ruth.
Yes, my duties for tonight is to listen for outstanding part usage of language and maybe some things that need a little bit improving. Word of the day is grace, and it is a noun, and it means a manifestation of favor, especially by superior or God. And I have.
Oh, you muted yourself by mistake there, I think.
Sorry about that.
Here you go.
Did you
want to finish your sentence? You said I have something. I think you're going to add something to the definition.
Okay. Just that I was put it in the chat.
Okay.
Word of the day.
All right. Thank you very much. We have a watcher, and tonight that is going to be Irvelin. Am I pronouncing that right, Irvelin? Is that correct?
Yes, great. Hi, everyone. Today, my role is to keep an eye on every single one of you, every single move you make. Throughout the meeting, I'll be watching whether you're framed properly, whether you're using your visual aids and background picture in a way that make you a good online presenter. Back to Toastmaster.
All right. Santa Claus got nothing on her. She's watching every move. Our chat monitor for this evening is Rosina Duncanson.
Thank you so much, David, Toastmaster of the Day. So my role today is to keep an eye on the chat, making sure that communication is addressed and just kind of taking note of interesting conversations that happen throughout the meeting. So feel free to use the chat to communicate and to support the speakers today. Back to you.
Terrific. And I just realized, slow on the uptake here, that our vote counter recording to the agenda was supposed to be Donna Knight. Donna Knight does not appear to be here. Hector, can you step in as our vote counter for this evening?
Dave, I'll be glad to do it.
Okay. And I don't know if you've used the online voting tool.
I haven't. Keep it.
So maybe why don't we keep it simple tonight and just do the private chat method?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
All right. Hector, do you want to give a speech about what the vote counter does?
Yes, absolutely. As a club, we have the opportunity to choose who did the best job at the speaking role, also in the table topics impromptu, and for our evaluators, because at the end of the day, it's a mini speech. Listen to the participations, making sure everybody is qualified, and then once you have that report, send your votes my way via direct chat. I'll report them at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
All right. All these people, they're doing work, they're doing the job. They deserve a chance to step up and tell us what they do in the most glorious way possible. Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the portion of our meeting where we get to our formal speeches. And our first speaker, he's standing up, he's looking natty, he's raring to go, is Andriy Smolenko. His speech title for this evening is 30 seconds. He's working out of Innovative Planning Level 3, present a proposal. And his proposal for the meeting is that we ought to bring 30-second evaluations to this club. It's time to awaken the sleeping giant of evaluations, excuse me, the sleeping beauty of evaluations. And I haven't heard of this, so teach me, Andriy.
4 years ago, I delivered my first ever speech at Toastmasters. It was a small club in outskirts of Manchester called Disbury Speakers. And I still remember my heart racing with 1,000 miles per hour speed. And my throat was really, really dry. The butterflies in the stomach were doing crazy pirouettes. And I've forgotten my lines. And the clicker, oh, damn clicker, it just refused to work. All those things in one go. Well, if you can relate to that feeling of embarrassment, if you can relate to that feeling, when you come back to your seat with saying, no, there is no way in my life I'm going to speak in front of the public ever again. If you can relate to the feeling when you say, I'm gonna quit Toastmasters, that's it, I'm done. Please put yes in the comments of our chat box. At the same time, if you can't relate to what I'm saying, if you think, I just don't know what that guy is talking about, put no. Please do it now. I can see yes, yes. Well, it's got to be more than 2 yeses in our club. At least, yes, I can see Jim, Rosina. Excellent. So we all have that yes feeling. Brilliant. Well, luckily my ordeal didn't last long. And Toastmaster of the evening just went around the room and said, well, little pieces of evaluation, little pieces, something like that. I'm sure many of you can remember them. But when I receive a bunch of handwritten notes with word evaluation, I thought, oh no, please, no more pain. I just don't want to do it. But then, with my one eye, I decided to look at them. And the first one I read said, thank you. You have inspired me to do the speech. Hey. And the second one said, I can't believe it's your first speech. Congratulations. And the third one went, well done. What a powerful presentation. Oh yes, my moods suddenly change. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can relate to that feeling of excitement, feeling of joy and anticipation, please put your comments in the chat box right now. Please comment yes. However, if you still don't know what I'm talking about, please put the comment no. I can see a few yeses again. Lucas, wonderful. Kimberly, Jim Barber, big, big, big yes. Excellent. So I think most of the people in our club can really, really relate to that feeling. And this is why I'm getting to the point where I'm an online presenters member and we are advanced club, meaning that's parts of what we do. I can see yeses still coming, brilliant, keep up good work, maybe one no. But at advanced club, we concentrate, apart from many things, on giving actionable and positive feedback to our speakers. And many of our online presenters members are distinguished Toastmasters with the highest level of award you can get at Toastmasters. However, a speaker receives normally just one evaluation, good quality evaluation, but just one. I think we can enhance the experience of our club and we can capture the power and experience and knowledge of all our speakers and guests. This is why I propose we awaken the sleeping beauty of evaluations in our club. I propose we bring back that 30 seconds evaluation at the end of the speaker's speech. So when the speaker finished speaking with the Toastmaster of the evening permission, we can ask, put just simple evaluation in the chat box. It could be as simple as one thing that you really enjoy and like, and one thing that can improve, in my view, that could enhance the power of evaluation tremendously. I'm not that naive. We are advanced club, and I can already see a few skeptical looks saying, I'm not sure if that's going to work. So this is why I've done a bit of research. Of course, there are some disadvantages of this. Online silence for 30 seconds. And I say, well, yes, we will be busy doing evaluation. We will be busy learning things. Poor quality of evaluations? No, I don't think so. We are advanced experience club. Stealing time from a table topics. Perhaps this is the valid point. We need to find the time from somewhere. And we don't want to change. Life is change. Life is change. So this is why, on the other hand, I put a number of advantages of making all this happen. Speakers can receive more valuable feedback. Members enhance their evaluation skills. If we do the 30 seconds evaluation, we test new ideas. What about that for our club? Oh, it might work, it might not. Let's give it a go. And I think most importantly, we can enjoy a new evaluation game. We all like a bit of positive new game, don't we? My fellow online presenters, this is why I think that bringing 30 seconds evaluation into our club structure is important. It could help us to enhance our evaluation skills. It could help speaker to do much better job. This is why, with Toastmaster of the evening permission, I ask, please give your 30 seconds evaluation to my speech, starting right now. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
All right. Well, Andriy has thrown down the gauntlet. He has asked for 30 seconds of silence so that you can give him a little bit of feedback. And since he was the first speaker up tonight, let's give the same feedback to the other two speakers as well. So I'll ask the timer to please keep track of 30 seconds. And I will try and keep track of how much that backs up our meeting and how much it might cut into table topics a little bit, but that's okay. So Mr. Timer, tell us when we get to 30. All right, I think we're at 30.
Oh, no, I was just saying that the timer's going.
Yeah, okay. All right. I don't know whether you could just say it instead of doing colored backgrounds.
We're there.
All right. Now this is what radio people call dead air. So Graham's going to give us a lecture on that the next time he comes in. Dead air might not be good, but we can always edit it out of the replay, I suppose. Our second speaker for the evening is one of our club leaders. It is Andriy Heath. She is working on the presentation mastery path. This is the My Communication Style speech, and her title is Don't Get Offended. I'll try not to, Angela. Go ahead.
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my communication style and what I learned from this Toastmasters exercise. And I have to tell you that what I'm going to share is really my thinking prior to doing this exercise. And so I have to make this disclaimer because I may have some negative things to say about some of the communication styles that I researched. So my communication style is direct, I'm decisive, competitive, independent, and confident according to the Toastmasters assessment. And I agree with that somewhat because I am very results oriented. I'm very focused. I'm a very open communicator. But I thought, wow, being direct could also be very abrasive. And that's why I was glad that my next communication style was called supportive. And so I started to look at that a little more closely to find out what that would mean for me. And when I did the research, I did find I am supportive. I'm direct, but I'm also supportive. You will always find me inviting quiet people to chime up. You will always find me rooting people on. I don't care how many mistakes they make, because I'm a communicator who is direct, but I also know how to be patient, inclusive, and supportive. So I thought what I'd share with you is some of my thinking prior to this exercise, and the best way to do it is in photographs, caricatures, so to speak, because I learned a lot from this exercise. I learned a lot about myself, and I began to really see patterns in my communication. See, I am what you may call a microwave. But be clear, I'm not one of the new ones that's extra fast with extra power. I'm sort of a slower, older model of a microwave, but yet I do want you to put the right thing in, the right information to come to me. And I am going to give you back exactly what you put in. So I am a microwave. My communication style sometimes is quick. Sometimes I'll cut you off, because sometimes I feel like people are communicating like cavemen. You know, they're rubbing stones together and they're taking such a long time to get to the point. And when I come across people like that in the past, I've been a little abrasive. If not directly, then inside of me, honestly, can I be honest, Toastmasters? Inside of me, I was doing a little boiling. I was thinking to myself, come on, let's get to the point. Let's move everything along. This is taking far too long. Now, when I run meetings, I pride myself on running very tight meetings. I want to make sure that every agenda item is checked off. I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to speak, but I want it to be done in a way that respects the timing of the meeting. Now, when I think about these initiating types, and some of you may be initiating, prior to this exercise, I was thinking, oh man, we don't need all of this socialization in our meetings. You know, we really don't need all of this persuasive, just make your point and let us make up our own minds. Sometimes when people were telling stories that are irrelevant, I would get a little antsy inside. And then the analyticals, when they're giving us facts and figures, I am very analytical, but I don't like facts that have no bearing on the conversation. So prior to this exercise, I was thinking, please just stay on point. We don't need all of that, which you're sharing with us. And then I thought about some of the people who are they're very kind. They're very nice in their communication style. They come in, they're jovial, and everyone loves them. But then I sometimes wondered, are they getting anything done? Are they accomplishing anything with all of this praise that they're giving everybody? But I was really shocked when I did this exercise. I really started looking at myself and I realized that all communication styles are valuable. I started to think, what would a meeting be like if everybody was direct? I'm sure people would leave offended. Don't we need somebody there who's supportive, who's going to cheer other people on and encourage them to speak? Don't we need somebody there who's going to make it light and social, especially when we're making tough decisions? And certainly we need the facts, we need the analyticals to come into our conversation. So honestly, this was a really good exercise for me. And if I could be honest, once again, I really didn't want to do it because I had already done my communication style, but I learned a lot. And with that, this is all I want to leave you with, fellow Toastmasters. Happy Thanksgiving. Toastmasters of online presenters in the US. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Angela. Mr. Timer, can you once again mark out 30 seconds for us? Just see if you can't give Angela a few quick notes. And you can be direct because she can take it. She can dish it out, so I'm sure she can take it. That's the time? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let us move ahead. Thank you to everybody who did take a moment to share their thoughts. Our third speaker for the evening is our newest member, inducted just mere moments ago, Imtinan, Mohsin. He is giving his icebreaker. It is my journey of life. He tells me that he's a professional engineer, originally from Pakistan, now living in Calgary, Canada. He's fond of visiting new places and a fan of natural beauty. The stage is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day and the fellow Toastmasters. So it's my privilege to be speaking in front of you and presenting my icebreaker speech. As the Toastmaster of the Day told that this is a journey of life, so I will tell about my background and where I belong to. So actually, I belong to a very humble family, which is located in a small city of Pakistan, which they call Jhang. And my father was an electrical engineer there, working there, and my mother is a college teacher. So I belong to basically a mix of technical and educational background. And all my sisters are basically doctors by profession. So this is my simple background. I was very lucky that I started my education career in a well-renowned colleges, and then I moved to my engineering university, which is one of the best university in Pakistan, where I did my chemical engineering. And then my journey started for the quest of the job. And the only thing which I mentioned is that my father, I was very inspired by my father. He was a very self-made guy, and he's a person of grace and dignity. And he always maintained his grace and dignity. And he's my role model also. And I learned from him that never ever feel ashamed and never ever be afraid of anything. And that's the reason I was doing lots of adventurism in my life. I started my career in Pakistan, and then I moved to Middle East. which was also very challenging for me. And then I worked in a different, in a hot weather countries. And then I plan to move to Canada, which is opposite to the place where I used to work. So from I go one extreme of hot to other extreme. And then I choose Calgary. The reason I told you that I'm very fan of natural beauty. So I choose Calgary because it is full of natural beauty and Rocky Mountains, which I like it. I like hiking. So that was my passion to come to Calgary, Canada. And still I'm, because I was, because I'm very fond of learning. So here I started my, I did another degree here in Canada from the University of Calgary in Master in Chemical Engineering. So this shows me that the life will never be stopped. If you are willing to do anything in your life, and if you want to do anything, the time and age doesn't matter, and even the environmental condition doesn't matter. It's your will to and it's your determination to do something, and you can do it. So that's why I was doing lots of things, challenging things in my life. And also my son is also is same kind of me, and he's also pursuing his education in medicine from also in Pakistan. So this is my short journey in my life. But the good thing is that I never feel ashamed of my past, and I'm a very optimistic guy, and I always see the future and very bright future. And I was always in a quest to learn, and I always like to meet new people, and that's why I have lots of friends in my life. And I like good people. I like good company. And so this is my first icebreaker, but I'm looking forward to give more advanced speeches. And so thank you very much for your time to listen to me. And yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir. And we hope that we can be good company to you as well. All right, let's take 30 seconds once again, give people a chance to send him individual messages. Of course, you'll get the big evaluation later, but you might get a few thoughts from other folks.
That's time.
All right. Which means it's time to move on to not just our prepared speakers being challenged, but those of you who didn't intend to be speakers tonight to be challenged. And we have as our topics master to keep you thinking on your feet, to keep you off balance, we have Pamela Benjamin. Pamela.
Thank you, David. What are you thankful for? Tell us a special memory of a friend you have. Tell us a special memory of a friend that you have. Evelyn Young, please tell us a special memory that you have of a friend that you are thankful for.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. There is a friend that I've known for 7 years. In Toastmaster, I got to know her when I first joined Toastmasters in 2014. At that time, in every meeting, she always served as an act counter. Always, almost in each meeting, she served as an act counter. And me, as the vice president of membership, tried to persuade her to take other roles. I know this is not really a job of a vice president of membership, but she always comes to me to ask for some advice on public speaking, on learning English, and on everything. And I was trying to do my best to help her. I was active in that club for only six to 7 months between June 2014 to January 2015. And during that period of time, I had a frequent contact with her. I helped her a lot. What I never imagined was she spent the following 6 years helping me in all kinds of problems that I had outside Toastmasters. She was in the medical industry, and every time I need to interview industry experts to solve my projects, when I'm working on my projects, she's always the first one who will serve as an interviewee. She gives me a lot of useful insights in my career path. She even donated hundreds and thousands of masks during COVID-19 to Indonesia. I always want to say thank you to her, but I also know that a word thank you isn't just enough. Action often speaks louder than words. So I'm always trying to find a way to thank her, although until today, I haven't found one. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. What is your Thanksgiving dinner ritual? What is your Thanksgiving dinner ritual, Lou Brown? Your Thanksgiving dinner ritual.
Wow, that's a great question. Because in large part, I actually don't have a ritual. I used to have a ritual years ago. The ritual was when I lived up in Massachusetts, and actually even when I moved to Florida, it was every year visiting family, and it was more than just direct family. It was a gathering of both my siblings, who at the time were adults, and I'm going beyond, when I had, say, Thanksgiving as a child and those kind of rituals. But once I graduated college, and me being the youngest of the family, we would have annual get-togethers at my sister's place. That was the ritual, is every year, all of us would meet at my sister's place, I think primarily because she was the best cook. My mom, God bless her, she did her best, but at some point, my sister kind of took over, and I'm thinking she probably didn't learn from my mom. I don't know where she learned how to cook, but she really did cook a lot better. Anyway, it was really great because not only was it the immediate family, but a lot of relatives as well. So that was like the place for all of the relatives to go. We'd go to other places for Christmas and other holidays throughout the year, but Thanksgiving was always at my sister's. She would make so many different dishes too, desserts, and even it wasn't just say vegetables and turkey and the traditional dishes you might find at the Thanksgiving table, but some new and different flavors that she brought to the dinner. And I really appreciated that because oftentimes I'm not one to try new things, but I did with her. And I really appreciated that. But it was more than beyond the mere food, beyond having been able to take a few days off of work, which is always something I know most of us appreciated in our younger years. Just being together with family was a great thing, because once I moved away and I started my own life, I did not get to see them at much. So I really appreciated just spending that day with them on Thanksgiving Day. So thank you, Madam Topics Master.
Tell us about a special celebration that you are thankful for that happened this year. Tell us about a special celebration that you are thankful for that happened this year, Donna Knight.
Because of COVID-19, we have been at home. my church does not own its own building. And so we were restricted by the COVID restrictions of going out. And I really hated it. I do not like online church, but it is what it is. And then we got the opportunity to go out and to go to church. And it was fun and it was good and I loved it. I was excited. I was like a child who is going on a trip. I got up and I'm like, you're a grown woman. It's church. You know these people. But I was so excited. And I was at church early. I probably would have been late every day if there had been no COVID, but I was at church very early. But this Sunday, when I got to go, it was even more special. And I just thank God for the opportunity and the grace to be able to be there that Sunday, because there were two people I wanted to see that I would not have been able to see. I would not have been able to hug. I would not have been able to say, I love you, had I not been given that opportunity. And one is this elderly lady that I see all the time at church, whose mother died just the other day, and we could not get hold of her. And it was such a joy to see her interacting and being able to tell her that we're really sorry she lost her mother and that we're there for her. But you know, the elderly, they're not very good with phones and you can't find them. And there is a rule about what age group you can visit here in Jamaica. And the second person is a young couple, a young man whose name I remember because I make fun of his name. I won't say what it is. And unfortunately for him, he lost his wife recently, a very young couple. So I was honored to be in their presence, to tell them that we love them and to be able to tell somebody and remind them that we love them despite what we see around them. I'm very grateful. Thank you for sharing, Madam Table Topics Master, for allowing me to share.
What are you thankful for every day? What are you thankful for every day, Hector Cabrera?
Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics. Let me share my take on this, as it may be a little bit strange to hear. First, I'm thankful for my blessings every day. But second, and I make sure I don't forget about doing this every morning, I am thankful for the problems I have in my life. Yep, you hear that right. I give grace and I thank the Lord because he allows me to tackle these challenges and allows me to grow through that effort to become a better person by the quality of the problems that I'm able to resolve. Granted, there are some problems I've been trying to solve for many, many years. That to me is telling me I have lots more to grow and learn before I can change that. There are others that I cannot solve anymore. Some people left this world and I cannot do anything about it, but I can still grow and learn from the teaching they left in my life and look at life in a different way and making sure I take advantage of the time that I have, the people that I love. And finally, through being thankful about my problems, in a way, I know I'm asking the Lord for more, but I see them as that opportunity to keep getting the best out of Hector that I can. I am Table Topics Master.
Tell us about some friends you are thankful for. Tell us about some friends you are thankful for. Let me see. Jeanette Francois.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Table Topics Master. Some friends that I'm very thankful for. Well, I'm thankful for the human race, my friends in the human realm. I'm thankful for having so many people that I connected with and who think about me sometimes when I don't even think about myself. I'm thankful for friends that I have who still call me very often to go to karaoke, because now, as you know, karaoke is back, in Canada. I don't know if it's the same thing in the United States, but it's back. And some friends that I used to sing with and enjoy great moments, I remember those chicken wing nights, at karaoke night. And I'm very thankful and grateful for all these moments. And also all the friends that I have at Toastmasters. Imagine, when we come to Toastmasters, we don't realize all the connections we can make with so many different people. And I never feel alone. I never feel alone. So I'm very thankful to have so many people around me. And even though that, I may have families, I may have brothers, sisters, or friends, or, it's like I'm very, very thankful for all these things. And I feel like I'm having the greatest time of my life. And I'm so thankful that I don't know where to start sometimes. And well, I give grace every day for having all this wonderful moment with such wonderful people in my life, and giving grace to be so thankful for all these things, all those wonderful things. So back to you, Mrs. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Jeanette. Our Toastmaster today said that's the final one. We could go on for a much longer. Lucas, can you tell me who qualified, who stayed in the time, met the time and stayed under?
Yes, everyone qualifies. I'm going to post the individual times in the
So our
chat.
time, Lou Brown spoke about his favorite dinner. And my first person was, who was my first person?
It was Irvin.
Was it? Okay, Evelyn, right. And that was her favorite friend. And then Jeanette spoke, Hector spoke. Did I get everybody? And Donna spoke. Please vote for your favorite table topic. It's going to be a hard one tonight.
As it so often is. But that's why we're paid the big bucks to be here. So and by the way, I forgot to call out loud. You might have seen it in the chat, but we forgot to call for a vote on Speaker of the Day. So please, if you didn't vote for Speaker of the Day, send that also to Hector by private chat. Make sure you distinguish between which ones are table topics votes and which ones are speaker votes. And now I think we have some time to move on. I asked Pamela to wrap it up, partly because Lou was hoping for maybe a minute or two at the end to address some issues. Let us bring on our general evaluator, Marty, to lead us through the evaluation portion of the program. Marty?
David, thank you. And here I am to evaluate these three speakers. We have three magnificent evaluators. And I think I even have the names right. For speaker number one, Andriy, the evaluator I have shown here is Jim Barber. Is that right, Jim?
You are absolutely correct, Marty.
Amazing.
You want me to start? Okay, I'll do it then. Mr. General Evaluator, my fellow Toastmasters, our guest Kimberly, and especially, of course, Toastmaster Andriy Smolenko. Wow. Andriy, I would like to list all the things that you did right. However, I've only got 3 minutes. I can't do it, couldn't do it begin to do it in 30 seconds. I can't even do it in 3 minutes. So I'm just going to hit the high points, the things that you were superb on. Let's pull this up. Let's see. Doody-doo. There we go. You have magnificent visual presence. Your eye contact was superb. I had you on speaker view so that I could see the slightest deviation from looking at the camera. You didn't do it. You were spot on. Your facial expressions, you have got some of the best facial expressions in the club. They are animated, they're appropriate. You speak to us through your facial expressions, and that is just absolutely superb. The best thing, though, is your gestures and body language. Let's see if I can pull that up, what I'm talking about here. There we go. That's the sort of gestures and body language that just makes a presentation come alive. You were far enough back from the camera so that we could see your gestures. They were appropriate. They were congruent with your message. Everything worked. But that's not the best of all. The best is, as you can see there, you were centered in the video frame, except when the time it became appropriate for you to move to the side, because your slide that you put up occupied most of the screen. So you moved over to the side, and that was so well done. You didn't just use the visual frame, you owned the visual frame. That was superb. I value the importance of making suggestions for improvement. I'm sorry, I don't have any. This was a top-notch presentation. The only thing I can suggest is not something that I'm not sure that you can do anything about. When you held up your props, your little slips of paper, your evaluations, and I love the use of props, by the way, Zoom caused them to vanish a little bit. When you were moving them around, they just vanished. Nothing that you can do about that except possibly find a different way other than Zoom to blur the background out and use the green screen background. If you can find that, it was a minor distraction, but your overall presentation, this was superb. And wow, I was just blown away. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, sir. A fine evaluation for a fine speech. And we will now proceed to our second speaker. Our second speaker tonight was Angela Heath, and evaluating her is Andrew Byrne. At least that's what I wrote down. I hope I got it right.
Yes, you did, Marty. Fellow Toastmasters, Marty, and most especially Angela, it is my pleasure to do your evaluation. You were presented us with team collaboration, level 3, increasing knowledge. And you focused during your speech on communication styles. You mentioned a number of different styles, direct, analytical, staying on point, and you talked about a variety of things. You did many things well. To raise it to a slightly higher level, I would recommend the following. First, for someone that is not aware of what your topic was and the different communication styles, you could have either used a slide that lists all the different communication styles that the Toastmasters talk about, but focus on the 1 or 2 styles that you have and how that manifests itself through some short vignettes or short stories. That's one thing. Secondly, when you did use your slides, and I congratulate you on remembering that when you're using slides, to have a slide presentation where you remain in the slide and are the focus of that slide, such as with Prezi, was very good. However, the material that you had on the slide was so small in print that would be an enhancement. If you want people to be able to read what's on the slide and you're taking the time to create that slide, use not less than a 36 font so that you can read what you're putting out there. What other things would say? There are times that your vocal dynamics or vocal range was very narrow. If you were to look it on an oscilloscope, it would be like right there. It wasn't up and down. It wasn't soft. It wasn't coming in on a camera and out. It was not that way. So that would be another recommendation, how to modulate your voice to stress and provide additional impact with what you're saying. As far as gestures, there were not a lot of gestures in your presentation. So know that you're in a three-dimensional space in Zoom. You have your right, you have your left, you have forward, you have back, you can stand up, you can sit down. All those things are great. However, it requires some planning. If you're going to stand up, it requires, at least for me, I'd have to readjust my camera with somebody doing that so I can see exactly where I am, so I'm properly centered on the camera. So there are a few things that you could do that would increase the value of your speech to everybody. And by having either handouts in advance or stuff in the chat box that could really orient people into the context of what you're talking about, would enhance it as well. I look forward. You're always a great speaker. You provide great added value, a lot of information, and I appreciate all of that. I look forward to your next speech.
Well, thank you, Mr. Evaluator 2. And now we move on to the third pair. I, quite frankly, have given up on correct pronunciation of our speaker's name, but I thought the speech itself was wonderful, and I will leave it to our evaluator, Mr. Lewis Brown, to tell me what I've screwed up on the name. Take it away, Lou.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And I will say, when it comes to a club that has folks from around the world, I'm sure all of our guests and folks and members know that sometimes name pronunciation can be challenging. So great that we all are aware of that and are comfortable with, I guess, correcting people when need be. Anyway, this is all about you, Imtinan, our newest member. Kudos to you for jumping right in and beginning your Toastmasters educational journey just 1 week after becoming a member. And for some of our members and guests who may not know, a member who is beginning your entire Toastmasters journey with OP, you gave a prospective member speech last week, which means you are not a current Toastmaster with 6+ speeches, etc. So jumping right in really shows your strong desire to improve your communication and leadership skill. Again, kudos to you. Now, while you, or I should say anyone, can share anything they want with an icebreaker, you shared certain aspects of your life, which icebreakers are an ideal vehicle for doing so. Thank you for sharing that information so that we can learn more about you. With evaluations, we normally do not discuss content. It is all about delivery, though in an online experience or an online club, a virtual club, content may be discussed when it comes to slides or visuals. I know Andy commented on a couple of slides for the last evaluation. I'm going to share with you just, I guess, 3 things. One, the things you're doing well, your strengths, things that I'd like you to keep on keeping on. A couple of things for you to be aware of, and finally, some suggestions for you to challenge yourself. First, your strengths. Great body language. You looked very composed to me. I didn't see much rocking at all. Perhaps our watcher may correct me if that's wrong, but to me, I saw little or no distractions when it came to your body language. Also had great eye contact, and your vocal pace is very good. And these are 3 very important key items of a presentation. You did not speak too fast, as I normally do, but not too slow either. A couple of things for you to be aware of and work on would be, I mentioned eye contact, but there were times when your eyes did shift left, right, up, maybe down. That takes a little bit of practice to avoid that, to really look at the camera, look at us as your audience. So try to avoid having your eyes shift around. And although I did comment that your vocal pace was really good, take a few moments to pause. That is something that I need to work on. I just did a little practice move right there. So infuse some effective pauses every now and then to allow us to absorb the information that you shared with us. I'm going to discuss a couple of things that you can use to really stretch yourself. But first, I'm going to say that some of the things I'm going to discuss, I believe, come later in later projects. When it comes to icebreakers, that is just, let's get to know more about the new member. And there are other things about speech development that come later on down the road, but I'm going to mention them anyway. One is create a theme or a focus to really work on, meaning one aspect, your education, your family, your profession. And that way we can get to know even more about you through this one speech, and then more about your life in future speeches that you share with us later on down the road. So it's really good to kind of share one aspect just so that we can absorb all of that information about you. So much more I could share in terms of that. I'm gonna send you a little bit of that information in the evaluation. Otherwise, again, welcome to our club. Great story, thank you for sharing. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
And thank you, Mr. Brown, for a very fine, if slightly overly long evaluation. And I don't know how you managed to pack in as much information as you did. I think that I have enough time that I can offer a couple of comments of my own. First, about the meeting as a whole. It's a great meeting, as always. I've been Toastmaster for quite a while and been associated with, well, this is the third club I've really been involved with, and they've all been wonderful. But this one is gradually turning into the absolute best that I can imagine. And believe me, getting better than Davy Toastmasters really took some effort. But
Pardon me, Marty, can we ask for the timers report?
Oh, sorry, thank you. Yes, could we please have the timers report?
It'd be good to get the reports from the other supporting players as well, the grammarian.
All right, I'll jump in. As far as evaluations, only Jim qualified. The times are posted in the chat.
Very good. Thank you. So who else do we have reports from? Since here, I've just got these listed in whichever order I happen to hear them. We have a watcher. Who was our watcher today?
Ladies and gentlemen, study shows that words actually only account for 7% of the message that we're trying to convey. And the rest is all about nonverbal, which is body language. Body language accounts for 55% of it. This shows how important it is to get your body language fits into the screen. In this sense, I think speaker number one, Andriy Smolenko, did a really great job because I could see his whole hands when he is making his speech. If you only show half of your hands like some of us do, then your speech is theoretically 30% less effective because body language accounts for 60% of your message. In addition, Pamela also impressed me a lot in the way she presented table topics questions, which appears on the screen together with congruent pictures. Personally, I would suggest that we avoid backgrounds that are too flowery or too crowded because that causes a lot of distractions. Imagine when you're making a speech and then the audience is more attentive towards your background, trying to figure out the little details in your background, then you are putting the cart before the horse. Remember, we are the leading characters and our background is the supporting role. Back to Chi.
Thank you.
Why don't I help you out here a little bit, Marty?
Pardon?
Why don't I help you out a little bit here, Marty? Our
By all
grammarian
means.
was Mary Dilling. Mary, could you give us a grammarian's report?
Yes, I am going to go fast. Andriy, your speech was filled with wonderful phrases, the butterflies in the stomach, feelings of excitement, joy, anticipation, awaken the sleepy evaluator. Action. I mean, I can't go over all of them. I did catch a phrase when you said came back to your seat. It might be better to say return to your seat rather than came back to your seat. There were so many other Jim Barber, magnificent visual presence, owned the visual frame, analytical, keep you off balance by David. The whole meeting, almost every speaker had outstanding phrases tonight. It was very, very nice. That's all I have. Thank you.
All
Oh,
right.
hold on. Word of the day. Donna, Hector, Jeanette, and Lucas use the word of the day. Grace.
Neat.
Terrific. Let's hear from our chat monitor, Rosina. Anything interesting going on in the chat this evening?
There was a lot of interesting things happening. First, we started off with sleep deprivation and chocolate deprivation. And apparently sleep deprivation leads to death. So please, you guys, get some sleep after this meeting. We also had the word of the day used in the chat quite a bit. Grace was used, and Jim Barber, by the way, has a wife named Grace. So if you happen to see her, please give her some grace. We also had wonderful 30-second evaluations in the chat. So great idea, Andriy. I think I want to use it in my club as well. And Mary Ruth agreed about problems being a blessing in disguise. Hector also shared a very nice quote that said, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it a seed of an equal or greater benefit, Napoleon Hill. And there were so many great nuggets of evaluation throughout the session. That's my report. Back to you.
Terrific.
Thank you. And let's see, what do we got next?
Well, let's hear from our vote counter what some of the results were.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. General Moderator, Mr. Toastmaster. What I will say is there was great participations tonight in our meeting. We didn't have great voting because less than 50% of you voted. I don't know if it's because I don't have the link, but I will remind you that the people that participated deserve your vote. Still, we had good results and we have clear winner, best speaker, Andriy Smolenko. Good job, Andriy. Best table topic, well, that was myself, probably because not enough of you voted, but thank you. And best evaluator, Mr. Jim Barber.
All right. All right, Marty, as general evaluator, you do get to give a wrap-up remark, but make it concise, because I think Lou wants to squeeze an edit word in
Very
here too.
concise. It was an excellent meeting. I enjoyed it, and I'm going to finish this up with one very quick anecdote from a time I was an evaluator, and I was evaluating a speaker who was absolutely perfect. I couldn't think of a thing to say, so I looked carefully at the speaker and said, the only thing I can find that might be improved is you have a hair out of place, put it back. That took a lot of laughter, especially since the evaluator just before me had commented that he didn't have a hair out of place.
Okay. All right.
Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
All right. Well, by the grace of Loki, god of chaos, we have made it to the end of this meeting. And let me surrender my duties to our president, Lou Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Yes, we're just a few minutes before official ending time. Great job, everyone. Our Toastmaster of the day, all the supporting role speakers, table topics, folks, and the evaluators, all great job every week. This is a moment that I look forward to. A couple of quick announcements before we officially end. And Kimberly, I hope you do stick around because we'd also love to hear from you again. Is we have a couple of events coming up. The executive board, which we just met yesterday. No, I'm getting my Sundays mixed up. Anyway, Saturday, what's this? Brain freeze. Anyway, we are busy working on upcoming contests that our club normally has. For newer members and guests, we have a special webinar contest that has kind of evolved over time, but is something that is a contest and will result in, I guess, the finals being done at the VTM Con. We also, that's the webinar speech. We also have a video speech. Dave, you could probably correct me if I get those backwards. We also have a special video speech, which is something that an online virtual club also does. We have a special contest for that. needless to say, we are in the planning stages for that. We also have a special meeting coming up on the 13th. Some of you may be aware of that from David's announcements at recent meetings. David, would you like to share anything additional since the last time you had brought the session up?
First, I should call on our counter to give her a report because I rudely skipped over her. Jeanette.
Yes. Oh, you're muted, Jeanette.
Oh, she's got a busted mouse.
Uh-oh.
Huh. Oh, actually, you can hold down the space bar. That should temporarily disable the muting. Not working. Okay. All right. Well, you know, I'm perfectly happy to not have an counter report because I always win the booby prize there. We do have a special meeting on December 13th that we're planning that is going to be focused on how to run a meeting in Zoom, how to use the different controls, how to mute people who shouldn't be speaking. There is a control where I can ask her to unmute, but she still needs to be in control of that to some extent. So, but how do all these different things work? How do they work together? What are the tricky parts? And that's what we're going to get to. We're going to have some folks, including the person who ran the Zoom team for our VTMCon events twice in a row, Smolenko. Very knowledgeable. She had some challenges. We did have Zoom bombers come in and try and do something rude in our first event, and they shut it down so fast you barely knew it would happen. It really didn't disrupt us much at all. So those are the kind of things that you'll need to know if you want to take these skills out and offer a workshop for your small business, a workshop for your profession, things like that. Those would be good skills to have, and we're going to try and make sure that you have them. So you'll be hearing more about that program very soon, as soon as I get a little bit more organized.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm also playing with my space bar here. I see it does work. Cool, got to remember that. Okay, that is it for all of the announcements. Members, please feel free to share any ideas you may have to help us improve the club and really take us to even higher levels of performance. We always look forward and give attention to any ideas you may have. I'm officially going to call this meeting to a close. Please turn off the recording.